Hi, this is Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass with a mid-session update for Wednesday, August 26th. It's about 10 minutes to 1 as I start the video. Okay, starting out with SPY 4-hour, we've inched up over the last couple of days and recaptured that 4-hour channel, which is a good thing for the bulls. Now, going forward, if you're on the longer time frames, you're going to want to watch for any decisive breaks of this channel to start becoming concerned. I really should have brought this red oval up into this area since we've made such a nice advance over the last week or so. If we start breaking down below 345 down into the 335s, there's a level of support there. But any break beyond that, and we're probably heading for a deeper pullback. Looking on the 30-minute chart, we just pretty much blasted from the open. We did come down on that first candle to close the opening gap. That would have been a nice place to buy on that gap fill. And you can see we've popped this target we had penciled in at 345.10 and have gone on up here to 347. You can see we're heavily overbought. That isn't a reason to sell in and of itself, other than the fact that you need to be on your toes for any pullback here. And I do have this nice trend line coming up from the lows down here in mid-August. And if we were to come back down and break this trend line, and then of course break below 345, then we would be targeting the bottom of this box here down towards 343.75. But as it stands now, everything remains all systems go. There's no immediate sell signals, so just keep your positions tight. Raise your stops as we advance, and if your stops get violated, then you can of course exit your positions. And one thing you can do is go candle by candle. If your stop was here at the bottom of this candle, you can raise it to the next candle, right on up the line if you want to keep things super tight. Qs have been where all the action has been today. You can see that we've recaptured the midpoint line of this 4-hour channel. And what I want you to notice, they call it a channel for a reason. Top of the channel, rejection, back down to the bottom of the channel. Top of the channel, bottom of the channel. Top of the channel, bottom of the channel. You get the idea. Top, bottom, bottom. Here we only made it halfway, bottom, and now we're back above. So if we do get up into the upper regions of this 4-hour channel, that would be a place where you should be very cautious about piling in long. There's a good chance we're going to have a pullback at least to the midpoint, and possibly on back here to the bottom of the channel, as we've done many times over the last 3 or 4 months. So keep that channel in mind as we head higher. Looking at the 30-minute chart, unless you bought the open, price really did not give you a good way to get in this. Of course, if you just bought it, then you're fine. But it left a gap behind. We never got that gap fill. like we did on SPY. So unless you, like I said, unless you bought the open, that would have been tough to buy. Unless you just stepped in and set yourself a tight stop. Way overbought here, but MACD is rising. If you see this PPO, this momentum, start to flatten and roll over, that would be certainly a sign of caution, and be careful on your positioning, because once this rolls over, it's likely that we would have a trend break up here on RSI and a bearish cross with PPO, and then likely coming back down. So keep things tight, continue to participate on the upside. Just keep in mind that things don't go up forever, and there will be a point where this rolls over, and just be ready for it. IWM, as we've been saying, is not where the action has been. Slow fade on the 4-hour chart. This 155 area has continued to hold. Should that break, we'd be coming back in here to this 150 area, which would be, a nice trade to capture, a $5 move in IWM. But thus far, PPO remains above the 0 line. RSI remains above the 50 level. So as it stands now, as long as 155 holds, there is no trigger for a longer term trade down here to 150. Looking at the 30-minute chart, again, we had a rise yesterday afternoon to 156.5, where it rejected and came back down to 155. Same exact thing that happened yesterday. And, like they say, traders should keep doing what's working until it doesn't. So fading 156.5 has been the right call, and as has buying 155. So here we had a round trip of $3, and now we had a move down of $1.50, and it looks like we're trying to make a move up. So like we said, until this 155 breaks, it's support. But once it does break, then we're going to come back down here to 153, and I think we'll actually come down and to test this this gap here. So FAANGs have just been incredible. Gap and go right out of the gate. Facebook has taken off. I actually saw quite a number of trades in the option side. They're buying November 400 calls, 110 out of the money. They were buying those at the high twos, like 280, and then I saw some at $3. They're already $4. So as bizarre as that sounds, buying something that far out of the money, they've already got a nice profit, riding this 8 EMA on the 1 hour higher and higher, just like on all the others. Overbought on RSI. Watch your PPO if you're long, and just be ready for any pullback. Given the strength of these, I would be looking to buy a dip coming back in here at a 50% pullback, give you a half back long entry. That would certainly be objective if you're not in already. That would give a good chance to get in if we could get a half back entry. I will mark those at the end of the day for a pullback entry for heading down the road. Apple's up $6. I mean, in comparison, it's not really doing much, but that was a good buy. We talked about that yesterday, holding $4.93, And, you know, I think it was probably $4.95 actually. But that's, you know, up $10. That's a nice trade. So Apple continues to hold within this trading range. I don't think you can buy it here really. You know how I feel about buying in the middle of ranges. It could just as easily come back as it could go higher. So if you didn't buy support here, now you got to wait till either it finds resistance or comes back again. Amazon, we talked about this. Once it cleared 33.35, the door was open. Gave a couple candles where you could have bought yesterday's close, which would have been a very objective entry. And now we're, what, 80, maybe almost 100 higher. And don't forget, on the daily chart, which I don't have here, we talked about 3,600 as technical measured move target, and at least at this point seems well on its way. I will pencil in some pullback zones where we could try some objective entries going forward. I don't think you can just, you know, buy it here out in space at all-time highs. I think if you're not in already at one of these other objective levels, you got to wait. So Microsoft, gap and go. If you weren't in already from this breakout here or a breakout above 216 yesterday, you would have had a hard time getting in. So pretty much the same comments as the other ones. I don't think you can really buy it at this juncture. I'd like to see more of a pullback towards these lower levels, maybe get a 50% pullback, and that would be a much more objective place than trying to pull the trigger right here. Google was a trade that you could have gotten into very easily. We had talked about a break above this 1610. It gave you that in the morning, and it's rocketed up here. Got to 1640. Now it's at 1630, but that would have been a nice entry for any active traders that had 610 alarmed or were watching it for an entry. Netflix, just an incredible move today, up about $45 or $50. I have no idea why. I did see him pounding the calls right out of the gate. And if you didn't grab it fast, I mean, you just had to step in at some point, and, you know, set a stop below and try and get in that move. Here it is on the daily chart. Remember, it had that open gap from earnings a couple months ago that had never filled, and now it has certainly filled. So, I mean, this is where alarms can really help you. We had said for weeks and weeks and weeks, gap entries at well, that should read 505, not 405. I'm sorry. So it's 505 to 530 was the gap. I just noticed that. But anyhow, if you had that gap alarmed, and even though you may have forgot about it during all this stuff in here, you would have gotten an alarm this morning at 505, where you could have entered that trade, and that would have been you'd be looking pretty good at this point. Twitter, a lot of call buying this morning, guys. I know it hasn't done much for us right out of the gate. Lots of call buying. So I am optimistic that Twitter is going to perform for us. So hang in there. it's been a little disappointing that it hasn't just taken off, but there's a good amount of money behind this now, a lot of call buying. So they're looking for 41 and higher over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that fits in well with how we're positioned in the September 41s. So I'm looking forward to see if this can pop this 41 and then give us a push. I even saw some, October 48 calls bought. So the institutions are planning for a move higher, and that would be great. ROKU was another one. Out of the blue, I didn't see any news. I didn't really look for any news. But a big move out of the box this morning. Visa's performing well for us. Continues to move on up. I did see some call buying above 212, so that bodes well for our position. RSI has broken out. PPO momentum has turned higher, so those are all good things. We should be prepared for a little hesitation at 212.50, which was the prior high. So we'll have to gauge whether we want to roll higher or spread our position or simply take profits once it gets up to 212.50. NEO has, we talked about gapped higher in the morning, has since moved higher. I will tell you, seeing put buyers come in, I looked at the order flow and it's about split 50% call buying and 50% put buying. So that in and of itself, is cautionary, not to just, keep piling in and piling in and piling in. I have paired my position. I've rolled higher up to the 21 strike. I don't have a lot of money sitting out there right now. So my position size is reduced, but price hasn't given any reason to sell at this point. But it is, cautionary at this point. So, so let's see how the rest of the day goes. Looks like my internet just went out. Anyways, hope you found the content helpful. I'll see what happened to my internet, and hopefully I can get back going here. Also, I have an afternoon appointment at 3 o'clock, so it'll be tough for me to get you anything right before the close. I will do a recap after the day, so I will send that out to you when I complete that. This has been Chris Buss with Traders Profit Compass. Talk to you soon.